Hi everyone, this is Trish Lesage. This video is about retrocausality. Retrocausality is when the past is changed by our current desires. Some of you may know that I took my website down years ago, and I took a break from my spiritual and metaphysical endeavors. In November 2023, I got back online and I created a new website, and I decided to share my experiences and the knowledge that I have gained with everyone again. I have experienced retrocausality recently. I accessed an old record log from years ago of all of the radio shows that I was a guest on and all of the publications that published my articles, and I noticed things written on the log that I never experienced, such as my having launched a past life regression therapy business years ago. I never experienced launching such a business years ago because I was never certified in hypnosis back then, and I was not insured, and I did not feel comfortable with offering past life regression therapy to the public. I only did self-hypnosis and hypnotized family members, friends of the family, and friends of friends. However, when I accessed my old record log a week ago, I noticed that it mentioned that I launched a business years ago in which I offered past life regression therapy to the public, which I never experienced as having happened. A week ago, I accessed my old record log again because I wanted to contact radio shows that I had been a guest on years ago to try to get interviewed on their shows again, and I noticed that my record log shifted and changed from my having started a past life regression therapy business years ago to my having started a hypnosis business and a past life regression business rather than a past life regression therapy business. Today I accessed my log again to take a look at past radio shows that I was a guest on, and the log has changed yet another time to my having launched a past life regression business and my having launched a regression therapy business. My log keeps on shifting and changing constantly, stating totally different types of businesses that I supposedly started years ago. However, I never experienced starting any of those businesses. The interesting thing is that I recently launched a hypnosis business in which people can go to my website to listen to some MP3s, and shortly after that, I noticed my log shifting to my supposedly having launched a hypnosis business years ago when I never started such a business years ago. A few days ago, I was seriously considering offering regression therapy type healing, and now my log states that I started a regression therapy business years ago. It seems as though within the past week or so, the records of my past as detailed on my log have shifted to reflect my recent desires of possibly starting hypnosis and regression therapy businesses. My recent desires seem to be changing my past, or my recent desires are shifting me to a timeline, a parallel universe, or a parallel reality in which there is an alternate history in which my past is different. The present is seeming to change the past, and it is a bit confusing to keep up with the constant changes. I am not alone, however, in experiencing this recently. According to an article titled "The New Earth is Arriving Now" by Cynthia Sue Larson that was published in the December 2024 issue of her Reality Shifters newsletter at realityshifters.com, due to ascension to higher consciousness and the new earth, people are experiencing this type of phenomenon. On November 8, 2024, Lee Allen Bogus spoke at the International Mandela Effects Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, and he mentioned in his presentation that those of us who are experiencing the Mandela effect shared a sensation of being on a train where we can see the track is being built in front of us. He was referring to different timelines coming into existence before our eyes. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Mandela effect, it is a term that was coined as a result of thousands of people recalling South African leader Nelson Mandela as having died in the 1980s, and then he was alive again a couple of decades later. The term Mandela effects now refers to people being dead in one parallel universe, but alive in others, time slowing down, speeding up, stopping, reversing, and also missing chunks of time. Retrocausality, objects appearing from out of nowhere, objects disappearing into thin air, objects being teleported from one location to another without any known physical means. Parallel universes, parallel realities, changes in objects, people, animals, and events, changing facts, changing histories, spontaneous recovery, and other phenomena. The experience of mind that I described seems to be an example of retrocausality because my present desires change the past and my past history. Each time that my present desires about starting a certain business changed this week, my past history also changed right along with my present desires. The following is a brief article that explains the concept of retrocausality further. Retrocausality is an intriguing concept that reverses the usual flow of cause and effect. It suggests that an effect can occur before its cause, meaning that future events could influence past events. The term retrocausality is derived from the Latin word retro, meaning backward, and causality, which refers to the relationship between causes and effects. In a retrocausal framework, future events could theoretically influence past events, essentially allowing for a backward causation. The key concepts are time symmetry, quantum mechanics, and philosophical implications. Regarding time symmetry, some physical laws, particularly in quantum mechanics, are time symmetric, meaning they do not distinguish between the forward and backward directions of time. This symmetry suggests that retrocausality is plausible. Regarding quantum mechanics, retrocausality is often discussed in the context of quantum mechanics, in which it is implied that particles can send signals backward in time. In regard to philosophical implications, retrocausality raises profound questions about free will, determinism, and the nature of time itself. If the future can affect the past, it challenges our understanding. Several theoretical models have been proposed to explore the possibility of retrocausality, such as transactional interpretation, which was proposed by physicist John Cramer. This interpretation of quantum mechanics suggests that particles can communicate through handshake interactions that occur across time, involving both forward and backward communication. In other words, particles can send and receive handshakes that traverse both forward and backward in time. Even closed time-like curves in which general relativity proposes scenarios in which time loops back on itself, potentially allowing retrocausal effects. Retrocausality remains a fascinating area of study that pushes the boundaries of our understanding of time and causality, and it offers intriguing possibilities.